Look, one of the things that I really wanted to do for season 3 was just do 10 episodes instead of 13. I felt like, the show would benefit from the greater narrative velocity of telling the story of the season in 10 episodes, and I think it really made a huge change. Like, I want the show to be very kind of kinetic and fast, and it was really helpful to only do 10 episodes, and I think the scope of the show is bigger this year. We're basically the season is about whether, there's no more debating whether Strigoi exist or, now they're there and we have to fight them off, and it's kind of like full-field war, and New York is kind of on a war footing, and we're sort of watching the decline of society and this evolving battle, and I don't know, it was exciting. It was fun to do.
Is 10 episodes also a reaction to the bigger marketplace? And by that I mean more high concept shows in competition and lots of short order shows on the smart end of cable?
Not directly. I mean, it wasn't. It was really a creative decision that it just felt like, it would be easier and better to try to tell our story in 10 episodes. Now, probably somewhere down deep, that is influenced by watching the evolution of television, which is moving to shorter orders, and also to, I think with Damon and I ending Lost, we sort of ushered in a new era where now showrunners kind of have the ability to negotiate with networks an ending to their shows, and we just saw like Game of Thrones is kind of now planning their end game, and it's eliminating one of the contrivances of television, which is sort of story shows, like not feeling like you're going to get to the end of the narrative, and that's really important. It's really important to me. I mean, we're ending Bates Motel this year, on a 5-year plan, what I think is really critical to the success of that show. We've always talked about the strain having a beginning, middle, and end, and we've had kind of a 5-year plan for this show, and I think that's the way television is evolving, and I think that's what audiences want to see. If they invest in a show, in a story type show. I mean, there's franchise shows like Grey's Anatomy or CSI where they can kind of go forever. But in these kinds of shows, I think you want to be investing because you're going to get to an ending.
In Bates, you kind of have an expectation you'll take the story to Psycho in some way. In the case of The Strain, when you begin the show, how clear is the end game in your mind? And is it risky to have an end game?
It's interesting because I think a lot about endings, and there was a definite ending in Guillermo and Chuck's books, but as Guillermo and Chuck and I work collaboratively on this, and as the show has sort of moved away from the books, the ending has evolved as well. So the ending will not be exactly what's in the books, but I think we all think it's going to be really cool and dramatic and right for the show. And it's been great to collaborate with Guillermo and Chuck and to see how open they both have been to really viewing the TV show as a different thing from the books, and not being rigid about the storytelling, and really sort of searching for like what's best for the show. The books will always stand on their own.
We were just talking to the actors about why these shows are so popular, the shows with a theme like this. They talked a bit about how it reflects human nature and the way we deal with things as a society. What's your take on that?
I think that horror is very metaphorical, and I think that it's a way of processing our fears, and I think we're also kind of hardwired for scary, dangerous experiences, and we live in a world that has eliminated the reality of that. You're not walking through the woods and you're going to get attacked by an animal. But in a horror show, you are sort of presented with sort of metaphoric versions of, I think, things that are very primal to the human condition, and I think that's why they engage people. And hopefully, hopefully in some way, when you're telling a horror story, you're kind of reflecting themes and that are kind of larger. And in our case, I think one of the things we've been very interested in exploring is how easy it is for totalitarianism to arise in a society that's in crisis, and how the character of Justine basically is sort of given all this power to try to solve this problem, and people are sort of willing to abrogate freedom for security. That's a pretty relevant theme right now, in the world that we live in. So I think there are some things that are sort of more intellectually metaphoric, and then there are deeper, just primal things that horror stirs inside us that kind of connect to our just fundamental survival as humans.